21. I was a shy, smart girl, though I was very much a tomboy, loving to ride untrained colts and ice skate, much more than playing with dolls, sewing, and cooking. I was able to read at the incredibly young age of 3, and at the 3rd grade level at only 4 years old. But when I was 11 years old, my brother David was helping to build the rafters on our new barn. He fell. He didn't break any bones, but he did get a horrid fever. All the doctors thought he was going to die. But I wanted to take care of him, and for 2 years I did, and eventually he got well. When I was 18 years old, because I was so shy, my mother decided it would be a good thing for me to teach summer school. So I taught it and loved it. I was pretty good at it too. In all, I taught for 15 years, all the while trying to ward off men who wanted to marry me. One in particular wanted to marry me. I said no. And then he said that he would go to the California gold rush, become a millionaire, then come back to marry me. Well, he made his millions, came back for me, and I still said no. That did not make him very happy. When my health started to wear down after my teaching career, I was offered to work at the U.S. Patent Office. I accepted and became the first woman to work in government. I also had a man's salary, which was unheard of for any working woman at the time. But when the Civil War started a little while later, some of my former students from the 6th Massachusetts Regiment got mugged, and all they had left was the clothing on their backs. So I asked friends and neighbors for donations of food and clothing for these men. When I realized more soldiers could be facing the same dilemma, I asked so many politicians to let me go to the front lines of the battlefield. So many of them said no, but I was a determined little lady, so I kept asking until eventually one of them said yes. I went to the battlefield multiple times, my most famous being the Battle of Antietam, where the wagon train taking us there was 10 miles long, and I was at the back of it with me and my medical supplies. So I woke the men who were driving my wagons in the middle of the night and told them to move my wagons behind the ammunition, which would put my wagons in the middle. When we arrived at the battlefield, the doctors, who only had corn husks to treat the soldiers with, called me the angel of the battlefield because I had arrived early. And once my health wore down again after the Civil War, all of my doctors were telling me that I needed a chance to relax. So I traveled to Switzerland and met a man named Mr. Appia. Mr. Appia told me about the Red Cross and invited me to the Red Cross convention. I really liked what he was telling me about the Red Cross, so I then attended the convention and really enjoyed what they were talking about at the convention. So when the war started in Europe, I really wanted to see the Red Cross in action. So I went against what my doctors had told me to do, and I went to the front lines of another battlefield and adored what the Red Cross was doing in the war, and I really wanted it in America. So I urged the U.S. Congress to sign the Treaty of Geneva, explaining how useful it would be in wars. But Congress argued that there would be no use for something to help in wars because they were never going to war again. I then reasoned that it could be used for natural disasters also. After a long, long wait, President Arthur finally said yes and signed the Treaty of Geneva, and the first American Red Cross was founded in 1882, and I was its president for 23 years. I resigned when I was way too old for the job and died in 1912 at the age of 91 years old. This concludes my presentation.
All right, some questions for Miss Clara Barton. When did he die?
I died in 1912. Natalia?
Where were you born?
I was born in North Oxford, Massachusetts.
Central Kids.
You might have said it, but I don't recall at the beginning of your interview. Did you have any kids?
I never married and I never had any kids.
Why on your billboard is it Georgia?
Good question.
After a few years of me teaching, I wanted to expand my own knowledge, so I went to college in Georgia. Georgia was also the first state to have a college that accepted women, so it was basically my only option.
And one more. a different one you might have forgotten.
How many brothers and sisters did you have?
I had 3 sisters and 2 brothers.
Alright. Do you wanna give yours, Carter?
Yes.
Alright, he remembers when he asked. Miss Clara Barton?
Yes.
Alright.
Why did you not marry the millionaire?
I didn't love them.